This is what you gotta do when you evict people. It's part of the job of being a landlord. Welcome to another episode of Deconstructing the Home Show. I'm Christopher Gill, and we're here at a rental property of mine. This is a fourplex at 246 Riverside in near South San Antonio. So we're about a mile south of downtown, and we are right on what is called the Mission Reach of the river. So they went and did a lot of work on the San Antonio River to make it more walkable, better for the local people, not just the tourists, and that is where this property actually backs up to. The river's about 100 feet behind me, and so you can literally take the trails that are behind my rental property all the way up into downtown. And so the reason I originally purchased this property is a good deal, great cash flow, but also long-term thinking ahead. It backs up to the San Antonio River, so that's a very unique feature. And then secondly, the property is close enough to downtown, and this area is getting better at a quick enough rate that I think in 3 to 5 years, the highest and best use of that property, and that's a term you'll hear often when talking about real estate, what is the highest and best use? The highest and best use of this half acre is not currently this fourplex. It would actually probably a much more dense development of apartments that back up to the river. So with that being my long-term plan, three to 4 years out, probably maybe 2 to 4 years out, in the meantime, I'm using this as a cash flowing rental property. So I purchased it when it was 75% occupied. I brought it up to 100% occupancy. We ran into some maintenance issues, and so we actually cleared the entire property. Now that I'm a little bit more established in real estate and I can take a couple months off from collecting rent, and we're kind of giving a nice little facelift to the entire thing. And what's important to remember when you're dealing with what I would consider a low class C property is to not over improve it. The tenants you're going to be attracting in this level of property aren't going to require and expect the level of finish out you would see in a different area of town that has a little bit of a higher socioeconomic demographic. And that's easy to do because, again, you see the property, you're proud of the property. I'm proud of this property, but at the end of the day, it's got to be a dollars and cents game. And you want to give people a place to live that's clean, but that's up to their expectation and that works with their level of income. And so you realize, hey, I could put $20,000, $30,000 into this. Will I see that come out on what I can charge in the rent? And if the answer is no, then you need to scale down your expectations for the property and improve it to a level that makes sense for where it is in the city. So let me take you on a quick tour, and I'll kind of walk through some of the ideas that we've gone through as we've been working on the rehab of this property. This is a 2-1. We're doing some drywall repair. We had some foundation work, so some of the floors or the walls got a little bit bowed because it's this paneling. We're straightening that out. We're tacking it back on the wall. Again, not a glamorous piece of property, but it's a cash flowing deal. If you can find good tenants, it stays rented easily. It's an all bills paid property, which can be a very big deal for people, so they only have one thing they have to think about per month. And you know, it's not where you need to stay, but this sort of thing is most likely, unless you have a very wealthy backer, you got a lot of money to put into it, this is probably the kind of thing you're going to be starting out purchasing and working on. So, you know, give your tenants a good experience, manage it well, take care of the issues, don't over improve it. Putting in some new lighting. Got that going. A little bathroom. This is, again, another 2-1, all bills paid. You know, works for a little family or a couple who are working and living in this part of town. So we're the largest unit right now. This is like a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. With all bills paid, this thing rents for $800 a month. Not too bad. Walk through a little kitchen. We're just doing some cleanup in here. 2 living areas really, or living in a dining. You got a little bedroom here with a closet. You got a real big master in here with its own bathroom. And again, we just cleaned it. We painted the roof. We fixed some holes that were in the roof. Put some new fans in here. Again, not expensive fixtures. These are entry-level fixtures. This is an entry-level rental property, but it's a good cash flowing deal. And cash flow is what allows you to do this full time. If you're starting out and you're working another job, you gotta have cash flow. You gotta pay the bills. These kind of rental properties gave me the freedom, and will be able to give you the freedom to start transitioning to doing real estate full time. And that's a huge leap, and will take your business to an entirely different level once you're able to start devoting more time to the real estate and less time to your day job. Another bedroom back here in the back. And a little bathroom here. We put another fan in here. This was just a light. It is way off in the corner. Who figures that one? But this is it. This is the non-glamorous side of rental real estate. This is not some high-rise apartment in some swanky area of town. This is in a poor area of town. It's a fourplex. It's probably a 70 or 80-year-old property here. And you know, when you're not planning to keep it long-term, or you're planning to really demo and do something different with the property, keeping in mind that don't over-improve it, keep it cash flowing, give people a nice place to live, but keep understanding what the property is, and that will really dictate to you what your budget's going to be, what you're going to put into it, and then what you're going to expect to get out of the property, especially if your exit strategy, that's another word you're going to hear a lot. You're going to hear highest and best use, then what's the exit strategy, whether that's keeping it, selling it, you know, in this case, totally doing a totally different development. Those decisions, you need to know those decisions up front when you're looking at the property, because that will dictate really how much you pay for the property. Because I've overpaid for properties in their current condition, but I know in just a couple years down the road, my price is going to be cheap for what the area is. And so to beat everyone else out, to win the war, not the short-term battle, I'm willing to do that. And that's a huge part when you're deciding what properties to buy and which ones to let go, because there are a lot of good deals out there, and you need to have a strategy in place for where you're going to be long-term to really make the right purchases and not be constantly playing catch-up or changing around your strategy, because that'll take time and money and really take away from your bottom line. Calculate cleanup, calculate repairs. It's going to happen every single time, or 90% of the time at least, when you're having turnover, there's going to be fix-up work that needs to be done, and there's going to be trash cleaning that has to happen. Get a bowling ball. Oh God, it's full of water. That's gross. What a ball! Look how straight that was. That was a strike. That was totally a strike. If I quit real estate, I'm going to the bowling league.